I want to thank the grace of heaven, virtue of masters, and mercy of transmitters and confidence placed by our senior lecturers and all of you for the opportunity to learn to conduct this class. And we all know what we are talking about, and we know why we are talking about Guan Yu today. And my class will be on the life and legacy of Guan Yu, but we only have this many minutes, so it's only a very limited addition or explanation or talking about his life story. As you can see in this front cover, this is a statue that was just recently unveiled, and this is in Hubei province in China. This is almost close to the battlefield, the field of his final battle, which is Jingzhou. Okay, yeah, and we know that he's very much revered and worshipped and honored in China, in Taiwan, and many Asian countries, and now Japan, yeah, Asian countries.
You know why? And, one of his most famous quality, you can say characteristic trait, is
loyalty and righteousness. Yeah.
Great
royalty and righteousness. Yeah.
That's why people revere him.
Okay.
Quality.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at this other imagery. Okay, this is a very iconic image of Guan Yu. Okay, this is an excerpt from the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and there's a description of him. He's the man who stood at a height of 9 feet. The 9 feet is not the English system. Okay, it's the Chinese system of feet, but I guess it's very tall too. And had a 2 feet long beard. So, yeah, he's also known as the gentleman of magnificent beard. Okay, and his face was the color of a dark date. Okay, with red and plump lips. His eyes were like those of a crimson phoenix. Yeah, so he had a dignified air and looked quite majestic. And he's also often depicted wearing the green robes, as you can see, over his body armor, and holding an enormous axe, known as the Green Dragon Christian Blade. So this is like his, when we look at the images of Guan Yu, he's usually like this.
I think they say he's over 6 feet tall. They say he's probably close to 7 feet. He's like 6 feet 9, 6 feet 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're talking about.
That time, it's pretty tall.
Yeah, he's pretty taller than most people.
Yeah. And that's because he's able to. His battle axe is. They have it at the museum, right? They still have. I think one of them. They say it's heavy.
Yeah, it's very heavy from iron.
Yeah, they say it's iron or steel, whatever.
Yeah, very, very heavy.
Very
yeah,
heavy.
There's some.
They say it's like 30 pounds.
30.
And he can swing with it. It must be a
one
lot
arm with one
very
arm.
strong.
So that's why he's a very strong person.
Okay, so his biography, his name is Guan Yu. Okay, Guan is the last name, and Yu, which also means feather in Chinese, is his given name. He also has a courtesy name, which is Yun Chang. A literal translation is like cloud long. He is one of the most outstanding general who served under Liu Bei. Liu Bei, he is you can say the head or the monarch of the Han state during the Three Kingdoms. So he was a very outstanding general. He had fought many very good battles. One of that is, the Red Cliffs, which we'll talk about, briefly later. So he is also often called the Lord of War. Or the God of War. And legend has it he was born in 160 AD in what is now the Yuncheng of Shanxi province. Okay, this is towards the north, but in the center of China, center north of China. He was married and he has 2 sons. One of the sons, Guan Ping, fought alongside with him in battles, and actually he was executed. He was
I thought he died
captured.
too. Yeah, I thought he died
He was
too, his son.
captured. Yeah, together with his father
Yeah, his son
in
died too.
in that fatal
battle, yeah.
disaster battle. Yeah,
Against Cao Cao.
against
Sima, right? Sima.
and Cao Cao and
Sima
also Yuan.
Isn't it no, not Sima Jian.
No, it's the
Oh, what is
Dongwu. Yuan.
No, that general was a very good general too. You know,
Okay.
under Cao Cao.
Yeah,
You guys should read that history. It's very interesting history. It has so many different
It's very confusing.
sides. Yeah, it's very different sides. A lot of different characters.
Many characters.
But even in Cao Cao's side, he has also some very good, loyal, and pretty righteous generals too. And so it's a sad, fact that you have two, good generals fighting each other. It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
So that's why the 三国演义. It just brings
Cao
out
Cao is-
that's
Cao Cao
history.
is the sneaky evil.
Yeah, he's very suspicious guy. Very suspicious. He was a minister. Cao Cao was a minister.
King
But he
Okay.
took over.
Okay.
So,
All kings are
when he
not.
was
all kings are
born,
selfish.
it was
no,
like
you can say that King Shang was.
towards the end of the Eastern Han Dynasty, and that dynasty was to be succeeded by the Three Kingdom period. Okay,
It broke
and
up
then
into three kingdoms. Yeah, it broke up because
Yeah.
Cao
and
Cao
so
took over.
he died in year 2020 AD.
220.
220.
Not
220.
2000.
220 AD.
Roughly 1800 years.
Yeah, in what is now the Nanzhang Xian, Nanzhang County of Hebei. Remember the statue in the cover page? That was also in the province of Hubei, not Hebei.
Oh, so
sorry.
it's right there.
So it's Hubei. I'll correct it later. And that was after the battle of what do you call Fancheng battle, and that was like kind of the Han state kind of came to its final stage.
Yeah.
Okay.
It got defeated. It's
got defeated later. Yeah.
Long.
Okay. So these are some of his some of the events that's kind of worth mentioning. In his early 20s, he fled from his hometown because he killed a local bully, right, or villain. So he had to fly from his hometown. But then he joined a militia formed by Liu Bei in fighting against or defending against the Red Turban Rebellion. Red 黄巾起义, right? Okay. So he met with Liu Bei and also Zhang Fei. Okay. So the three of them, Liu Bei, Zhang Fei, and Guan Yu,
Famous.
they have very good affinity, in our term. And so so they swung. They had a ceremony of swung brotherhood. Yeah,
Peach garden, right? The peach garden.
yeah.
桃园.
The Garden of Peach, 桃园三结义. But this actually was in the novel, The Three Kingdoms, the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. When I was looking through all the materials, they say this is like a fictional.
That's right. They say
It's not.
it's made
it's
up.
not.
That's what
Historical. Yeah. But
三国记没有. Yeah.
yeah, but this because a lot of the stories and his the events relating to Guan Yu were kind of you can say embellished and popularized because of the novel. Okay. So the common goal of their swan brotherhood, or you say fraternity, is to join forces to fight against that the Yellow Turban Rebellion. And the three of the unity of the three also play a very important role in the establishment of the Shu Han, the Han state, which was led by Liu Bei. And there's a very important figure in this state, which is Zhuge Liang, right? You remember?
Yeah, later on. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
go
before
back.
you skip, just to let you know that Zhang Fei also happens to be one of the four guardians too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
He's also
he's the
very
fourth. He's the
a very
father.
So
good
which one is he in
general.
the picture?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, his weapon is a spear. You know that, right? His weapon's a spear.
Oh,
But a spear is curvy.
Oh.
The blade is curvy. Rear spear.
So you can tell that the one standing in the middle is Guan Yu because he always wear a green robe.
How come the painting is
Snake.
blue? I copied the
Pretty
robe.
weird. Spear.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
And then
the Zhang Fei is the red or the black?
The black.
The one in the black.
Oh, so he's the hairy one.
Yeah,
the one on the right. He's the one on the far right.
Yeah. One thing I forgot to mention is Guan Yu is often drawn, depicted with a red face, like we said right now,
Yeah.
because that's kind of a representation by the Chinese opera. A red face usually symbolize or represent someone who is very righteous.
Righteous.
Yeah.
Well, it's also part of the I Ching too, because red represents south,
Mm-hmm.
and south represents righteousness.
Oh.
Yeah, in the
Oh.
5 colors. Yeah.
Righteousness is west.
No.
Yeah. Right. South has its
Oh,
propriety.
sorry.
South.
Propriety. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
We excuse you.
Sorry. I get mixed up.
You're still a human.
Okay.
Yes.
So together they, at that time they were, China was very divided and they have different you can say lord, covering or occupying different territories. One is by Liu Bei and the other is by Shan, and his general was Cao Cao, or his prime minister was Cao Cao, and there's also another one that's like in the east, and that's Sun Quan, okay, which is who was going to be the ruler of the Dongwu, the Wu Guo, the Wu state.
Later, yeah.
Yeah. And so they went into battles together. At first, it was like the battle between Liu Bei and Cao Cao. And so at one of the battles, Liu Bei failed, and so he kind of fled. And he
west.
right.
Southwest.
And so Guan Yu had to surrender to Cao Cao because Liu Bei's wives were with him. So in order to protect the family, he had to surrender, and he kind of worked under Cao Cao for a time. And Cao Cao did everything he could to try to make him stay for long. He gave him all he could, titles, beautiful women, wealth, and everything. And he also came up with different schemes to try to prevent him from leaving. But Guan Yu, we know he is a person of loyalty, and so he never changed his mind, never changed his loyalty to Liu Bei. So he stayed there, and Cao Cao was very good to him. He showed him all the courtesy and respect, and so Guan Yu also felt that he owed Cao Cao something, so he didn't leave right away. But in the meantime, he was trying to find the whereabouts of Liu Bei, and he found out where he was. And then there was the Battle of Boma, in which Guan Yu fought a battle against the rival of Cao Cao, and he was able to capture one of the very important general of Cao Cao's rival, and he actually beheaded the person, which is called Yan Liang, I think, the general. And so after this battle, he felt that he already paid back Cao Cao's kindness toward him, and so he decided to leave. And at this time, Cao Cao persuaded his lord to give Guan Yu even better titles and better, privileges. But that still did not change Guan Yu's determination to leave him and to reunite with his lord Liu Bei. And so he reunited with Liu Bei, and then later on there's the very famous battle which is called Red Cliffs, which is in Chinese means is 赤壁. This is a very well known battles. Even kids in China would know about it.
Well, it took place on Changjiang.
Along the Yangtze River.
Yangtze River.
Yeah.
There, I don't know. Is it Wuhan? No, not Wuhan, but further upstream, I think. I forgot, but anyway.
They say they have different locations.
Yeah, but
so
that's a very famous battle.
yeah, 赤壁之战. Yeah.
There's a movie about it.
Right. Yeah. And so after that, things just go downhill. You know, things were like that in that period of time. And so finally there was that Fancheng battle. This is the battle. It's like, you know, the Waterloo.
Of the Liu Bei's, his kingdom.
Yeah, right.
Unfortunately,
Yeah. So, so Guan Yu and his son, because the other state, they also play some tricks. Like they treated the families of Guan Yu's soldiers so well, and this kind of really weakened their spirit, their desire to fight for this Han state. Okay, so a lot of soldiers went back to their home. So they kind of, what we call 逃兵怎么讲?
Deserted.
Deserted. Okay,
deserted.
Guan Yu. So he was left with very few soldiers. And so there's no way he was able to, turn things around. And in the end, he and his son and the very few soldiers that they have were ambushed by, I think it's Sun Quan's forces, 3 states. And so he was executed. He was executed in a place called Linju. Okay, this is a place in Hubei province.
Yeah, but they were under Cao Cao, right? Those other group with Cao Cao and the other kingdom too, weren't they? Or not Cao Cao? Is that time? Not Cao Cao. Because Cao Cao would not have executed.
Yeah, Sun Quan. It was Wu. Yeah, it was Wu.
Yeah, it was Wu.
Yeah.
The kingdom in the east.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which state executed?
Cao Cao is in the north.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
Cao Cao's in
this
the north,
this is the Shu, which is the country that Guan Yu served.
Yeah, that's Liu Bei.
Okay.
Liu Bei.
Liu Bei, and then this is where it's Cao Cao's
Yeah, Cao Wei. Yeah, Wei.
way. Okay, this is like further north.
Yeah.
Now you see, this is the map of China, the territory
Back
of
then,
China,
yeah, back then.
which kind of looks like a rooster, right?
Oh, it does?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Where's the rooster?
See,
Head on.
this is the head, right? And this is the back, and this is
Tail.
and this is what you call a
Chest.
chest.
the
Yeah.
leg.
Okay. And then this is Wu. Wu is his
The east, southeast.
the forces were led by Sun Quan. The country was led by Sun Quan. So Guan Yu and his son was really captured by
Yeah, not
Wu.
Cao Cao.
Not Cao Cao. Yeah.
Because Cao Cao probably would still not have executed Guan.
So they were captured by the Wu,
Yeah,
the yellow
Wu, yeah,
country.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
and
three-
somewhere here. Okay.
The three kingdoms are all fighting each other.
So the Wu
Weird.
country
Sometimes
is the
they-
one that
Sometimes
he
they have
guided.
alliances. Sometimes,
Yeah.
but it's all very
The
temporary.
Wu
It's all
country
temporary.
is the one that executed
Yeah, the
him.
yellow.
Yeah.
The yellow one
Yeah,
executed.
the yellow.
Yeah, and near.
I don't know.
I would say this is probably the
Yangtze
Yangtze
River.
River here around here.
Right.
Okay, yeah. So and I would say about here would be like Hubei. Okay, this is where the statue stands.
Oh, over there.
Yeah.
But they executed him. Why they put the statue there? They should put the
To-
statue
to
in
move.
the green or the blue.
That was back then. Now.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
Do I
very
have
interesting.
Oh, okay.
Very interesting.
Well, so that's like a brief review of his life, and what we want to talk about is that his legacy. We know in our Dao community, he's known as the Guan Fa Li Zu, the law enforcer, the enforcer,
The law.
the law enforcer. Yeah, or
Or the guardian of the law.
guardian of the law, guardian of the law. Yeah, and he really, his name really epitomizes loyalty, righteousness, bravery, justice. Okay. Now, first of all, the loyalty. We know how he remained very steadfast and very committed to Liu Bei in spite of so many difficulties and so many temptations. And story has it that he rode thousands of miles to reunite with Liu Bei. Yeah, okay, his lord. I mean, this is something we see more of like a fable nowadays. People, they would just flock to where they are interested,
Yeah.
where they can have some personal gains.
Yeah, well, he can't be bought. That's the key. So he's incorruptible. He can't be corrupted.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's today is like everybody has a price. Hey, name your price. You come over. You come to my side or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. See, unfortunately, it's like
Right.
that. Right. But he can't be bought.
Should learn from him.
Yeah. Right.
Well, that's what loyalty means. Besides, patriotism. But it means many things.
Yeah, and also then he's also very well known for his righteousness. So no matter what circumstances is in very adverse, situation, or when Cao Cao gave him so much material comfort and so much recognition or titles and ranks, he's never changed his mind. He's not what we call he never waver.
Yeah. So righteousness is it's a big term, broad term. In more practical term, you can say he has moral integrity, right?
Right.
Integrity.
Very much
Moral
so.
integrity. That means, he, like you said, he will not be tempted. He will not do anything that's against the principles. That's the key. Okay, so that's what
Yeah.
righteousness
Yeah.
means. I mean,
Yeah.
righteous could also means morality and all that stuff. But it just means he has very, moral integrity,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So just much like Avalokitesvara, he is so well revered and so well worshipped in China. You can, shrine dedicated to him is ubiquitous. You can go to any city or any place, even if it can be a very small temple, but they are everywhere. Okay. Now next one is the bravery. You probably have heard of the bone surgery without anesthesia. Huatuo. Where is it?
That's another famous Chinese.
Okay,
Chinese
so this is during the Red Cliff battle, he was wounded by a poisonous arrow, and the arrow actually reached into the bone. So the poison also got into the bone, and so he had swollen bones, and that has to be taken care of. Otherwise, he might have to have his right arm amputated. Yeah, and so they brought in the legendary Chinese physician Huatuo. He's like Shen Yi, a very magical doctor.
He's like,
Yeah. So when he was being operated, he didn't take any anesthesia. I think one story has it that because it was a wartime and he doesn't want to lose consciousness in case the enemy suddenly came for a raid or something, and he's a general commander in chief, so he should be always very wakeful, very conscious. So he refused to take the anesthesia.
Maybe
so
in the old days they don't have anesthesia.
I guess they have their type, maybe herbal.
They already have acupuncture. Acupuncture was already in practice. So they could use acupuncture, I don't know, to numb his arm, nerves, but or other stuff, or other medication, whatever,
Yeah. So Huatuo even suggested that he should have his arms tied to something solid, so that when it got too painful, he would not move and interfere with the surgery. But he kind of laughed it off. No, this is a small procedure for me. Yeah.
It's just a flesh wound.
All right, and how painful it is. I mean, to cut open the flesh, it's already very painful, and the physician had to scrape his bone.
We probably pass out.
I mean, this is really
most people would
unthinkable.
just pass out.
Yeah.
It's so painful.
So all the onlookers had to turn away, hearing those sounds. But he was calmly playing the Chinese chess.
He was reading a book. He's
Yeah.
playing chess.
I guess because Buddha nature was with him.
His mind.
Yeah. So he didn't even moan or anything. Yeah.
Did he win the chess
See,
game?
he doesn't even have to. See, he can even have to meditate. See, people, monks can meditate in a state of meditation, and you could cut off their arms; they won't feel pain. They don't need to feel pain because they're in a state of meditation. But he's conscious he's aware, he's conscious, he can see, hear, touch, whatever, and yet he doesn't feel pain. See, so that's very high level.
Yeah, very
of
strong
cultivation.
willpower.
Yeah. Because all sensations are false too, right?
Have you reached that stage?
No. 观受是苦, right?
The other attributes of him is the propriety. Okay, so when he was still serving under Cao Cao, they wanted to do anything to undermine him. For example, once Cao Cao put him together with the wives of his brother. In the past, sometimes a man has more than one wife. They can have a concubine, and so he was like protecting the two wives of Liu Bei, and so Cao Cao intentionally put them in the same room, okay, because then he wanted to, undermine his character, but knowing the intention. And of course, we know he's a person of moral integrity. So he instead sat outside the room, burned the overnight candle, and read books.
Read some kind of book,
Yeah. They said 春秋,
yeah,
the spring and autumn.
Yeah, spring and autumn.
Yeah.
Annals or whatever, history.
Right. So there are many. There's story about him. Yeah. He's just we can say perfect virtue.
Yeah, so
of
he's
course,
like a 君子 in this case.
Yeah.
Like a 君子, what Confucius would call
Right.
a superior
okay,
person.
so this shows how he was, guarding. He was guarding his sisters-in-laws, reading a book overnight. So because of his very virtuous characters, he was very well worshipped after his death. Okay, and these are some of the honors and titles. For example, for the Buddhists, they call him the Saharama Bodhisattva, which means it's the defender or the protector of the Buddhist sutra. 护法大仙. And then he was also known as Guan Di, Lord Guan, Lord Guan, Guan Gong, or Divas Guan. So he was really deified especially after Sui dynasty. The Sui dynasty is the dynasty before Tang, which is like the golden age of China, right before the golden age of China. They also have stories about his manifestation in some places like the imperial courts, and he was also known to have appeared to help the first emperor of the Ming dynasty, Zhu Yuanzhang. Yeah, and so they say he has that kind of we call the celestial power, and that's why Chinese people they kind of they have his statue at home in business, and I was told that in Hong Kong almost every police station has his statue too.
Police station? Really?
Yeah, police station.
Even here in Chinatown, you go into any Chinese restaurant, his
You can have
statue
that?
will
Really? Really?
his statue will be up there.
Because they believe that he will bring them protection and also wealth.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And remember, he has a 2 feet long beard. Zhuge Liang said his beard is peerless.
Okay, wait
They're
a minute. I hear
beautiful.
Zhuge Liang all over the place. What
He's a
is that?
strategist.
Yes.
He's like a genius.
Yeah.
He's a strategy, so he helped them in the battles.
Well, yeah,
he can calculate
he
with
knows
the
the
I Ching,
I Ching.
so he can
He
know the
knows
weather.
the-
He can calculate.
he knows how to
the
use
weather.
it.
You make prediction.
Yeah.
To predict, yeah, like there's a famous battle, right, where he can predict how the weather's going to be like.
Yeah,
So
so fog
then
coming in, he knows,
so
so he can
he
use
devised
those-
the strategy
use
to
those-
win the battle
Yeah, right.
by
So he's
predicting
very
the
wise
weather.
and
Isn't that
very-
true? I mean, also he did the prediction of the
right? He can set up
collecting the arrows, right? So he
Yeah.
used the boats.
Yeah, because they didn't have enough arrows, so they came up with this.
Yeah, strategies, and also he took another strategy where I think it's against Wu Guo.
Like a genius.
he knew that the weather, that the wind direction was going to change. So he devised a strategy where he used the boats on the Yangtze River with straw and have fire explosives so that they would destroy the fleet. I think of the Wu I think it's Wu or maybe Cao Cao's group, because they were gathering together to invade his kingdom. So he devised that because he knew that the wind direction is going to change. So therefore he was able to do that. And also when he was standing alone at the gate of the city when the city was abandoned, right? No troops, and he was there playing the qi. That's another story. Oh, there's so many stories about his strategy. Oh, you guys should read of Zhuge Liang. As a matter of fact, Zhuge Liang is the one who who practiced most eloquently the principles of what we call Sun Tzu Bing Fa. The strategy and tactics of Sun Tzu, or it's called the art of war. Sun Tzu Bing Fa. They say he was one of the most brilliant practitioners of the principles of the art of war.
He sounds like a wizard.
Oh yeah, no. They study.
Really, he is like a wizard.
Yeah, they say he's like a wizard. Yeah, you can say he's like Merlin. He's like a Merlin.
Like a Merlin.
Only because he can, calculate.
No, because he can. He can like predict. He can base on a whole bunch of things. But
still wasn't enough to win the war.
Yeah, because they don't have the resources. They don't have the numbers. Cao Cao's group.
It's so huge.
So many. They have million-man armies. I mean, so there's no way. And also, no. Cao Cao. He in history he's like a villain. Because he tried to take over the throne. I mean, he himself said he doesn't, but he actually took over because he was the young son of the emperor. Because Liu Bei was not the emperor too. He's another minister. You can say he's like a minister too. But Cao Cao was also a minister too.
So Zhuge Liang is under Liu Bei.
Yeah. Well, that's because there's a story. Zhuge Liang sent 3 times, right, to beg for Liu Bei's help. I mean, Zhuge Liang's help. But that's later on because he's always being defeated. Yeah. So, but you gotta understand, under Cao Cao, even though he's a bad villain, you can say he's a villain, but he also is very smart. He knows how to use people, and use people. I mean, he's like a very calculating. You can say devious, but calculating skill, But he also knows how to use his generals. I mean, use talented people. So he has under Cao Cao's group. He also has a lot of talented generals too. The Sima, I think Sima is one of them. Sima Jiangjun. Later on, it was Sima's son that took over from Cao Cao. No,
that's from
that's later. Sima Qian is a historian, or poet historian, whatever. Yeah. Well, no, there's father and son. Sima Qian,
You must
Sima
be the
Guan.
reincarnation of him.
Guan, Sima Qian, Sima Guan. Grandfather and son, those are very famous. But he also knows how to use good people, capable people, Cao Cao. So that's why his later general is the one that controlled, that defeated everybody. But he didn't live to see it. As a matter of fact, Cao Cao's son succeeded him. But then he too got defeated by his general. See, but it's very confusing history. Complicated. Yeah, you can say complicated. Yeah? But Cao Cao also had very good generals too, and that's how they won eventually, in spite of Zhuge Liang. You know what I'm trying to say?
So Cao Cao.
Yeah. So after so many stories told, I hope you come up with some kind of a image or impression of Guan Yu, and that's why he is the guardian of the Lord, and he is usually represented during our ceremony by the secondary announcer.
He's the
person.
Primary.
Primary.
No, he's the primary.
Oh, sorry.
律法律主 is the secondary.
No, is it?
Yeah.
No. It's
primary.
The eight immortal, right? One of the eight immortal.
Yeah. And I have a little scripture to share, but I don't think we have time to. And I haven't finished really the translation. I was doing it just now. Okay, this is scripture by Guan Falizhu, Immortal Guan, or the Guardian of the Law, Guan Guardian of the Law, and he's talking about 天职之意义. Now, the true meaning and practice of heavenly bestowed titles or duties. Okay. Now, first one he
Double
said.
negative.
No,
Doesn't not.
I think
that's
it doesn't equate.
It does equate.
no, he says it doesn't equate.
Does
That's a
No, no, no.
typographical error.
doesn't equate.
Not.
Yeah.
Does not.
So holding a heavenly bestowed title does not equate being inspired or true cultivation. It means even we are like staff members, or we are temple host, or we are a speaker, we are a lecturer. It doesn't mean everyone really understand about the Tao, or we are really practicing the Tao, right? So having that position is one thing, but now we know we have to really live up to the requirements of the all staff members, speakers, lecturers, temple hosts, temple masters, transmitters, holding that position, and this position are from heaven. It's not something from this human world. So we really have to honor it. We have to treasure it, and we really have to do something to do something befitting that position. Okay, that's what it means. Okay, and a heavenly bestowed position title does not equate power. So it doesn't mean that I am a transmitter or I am a
You
temple
put a
master.
note there again.
Double negative.
Yeah.
Because
Listen,
I copy.
Does not equate.
Yeah, I mean to say does not, but then I say does not equate power, authority, or
Rewards,
果位.
right.
Yeah. Okay. So it means we have this position, but then we have to do
Don't
something.
abuse it. Yeah.
Yeah, don't abuse it, and on the contrary, we have to
Right.
do something to be equal to that position.
Well, you just have to show that you're worthy of that
Yeah.
position or that reward.
Yeah,
That's
so for a human being who has that heaven bestowed title, he may not be a sincere cultivator or a diligent practitioner. Okay, but a person who doesn't have that may not mean that he does not have the opportunity to fulfill the vows and return to you where we came from. Yeah, so this is very true. And here it says for transmitters, temple master, lecturers, whatever our titles, if we don't get rid of attachments, how can we see all as one and treat all with equanimity? You're all God's children and disciple of Jigong Buddha. How do we manifest the dignity and solemnness befitting our title? So you should not determine superiority, seniority based on years in the Tao community. It's really our understanding of the Tao and how sincere we are, how much efforts we put in, how much time and energy we invest in this duties that really determine whether we are senior or whether we are superior. But we shouldn't really let go of all these notions of superiority or seniority. Our true self comes from the same source. There shouldn't be differentiation of higher or lower ranks. Okay, so 修子 means cultivators, right? Like how many cultivators revere heaven and emulate the earth? Yeah, a lot of times people do bad things because they have no regard for the law of nature. They don't usually in Chinese we say 不知天高地厚, how high the heaven is and how thick the earth is. Now God here of course means the loftiness of the heaven and loftiness of the law of nature, and the earth we say has very good virtue. It really takes a lot of things from you, like when we do something to it does not complain. On the contrary, it nurtures, right? The earth nurtures human beings and all living beings. So we need to learn the loftiness of the heaven and also the tolerance, the tolerance of the earth. Yeah. And how many cultivators are really calm and tranquil? 心平心静气, huh? We all heard of this in the temple. again, how many cultivators are not very humble, very modest in living in this world, going about things, and how many of us cannot really we say transcend the forms and understand the principles. Okay, and then this is we have to be sincere at heart, and this sincerity has also has to be practiced on the outside, so that there will be unity inside and the outside, in our inner virtue and our outside conducts, okay, external conducts. So we have to do this 诚于中, be sincere at heart, and also manifest that sincerity in our conducts. So this will be the spirit of a cultivator, and so we can deserve to be the role models of all living beings or human beings. And we also have to 至诚无息, okay, means we have to be sincere till the last breath, to our last breath. We should have this attitude, so that we will have illicit help, infinite help from the heaven. So we have to be sincere first, and that sincerity has to be forever. It's not just sincere one day and then the next day it's different. And also, 光先有义无反顾的决心. The 决心 means determination. So it's a determination that will never yield, that will never go back, or will never change our mind. This way we can expect miracles, or some feat that's beyond our imagination. So if we are really sincere, and if we have that unyielding determination, then there's so much we can accomplish. It's really beyond our imagination. And 先有礼贤下士的敬意. We should have that respectfulness with which we treat people, let's like maybe our subordinates or people who work under us. Then we can have the broad-mindedness in taking different opinions, taking criticism or different opinions. And then we also need to observe the temple regulation or Buddha's regulation, so that we can help establish a very model temple, or model Dao community. Okay, here's more. So when people who come before us, they plant the tree, we who come later, we benefit, right? We can take shelter,乘凉, 乘凉.
Shade, shelter,
and then 筚路蓝缕, 感恩道场. So 筚路蓝缕 means they go through a lot of hardship, and 筚路 is like very rugged road, it's not like smooth journey. And 蓝缕 is people who are wearing rags, like holy teacher, right? So it means they went through a lot of hardship, and so we have to be very grateful. Because of their efforts and their dedication, we have this environment, this community, this platform. And this we have to respect people, 前贤, okay. And we also have to guide and lead people who are under us, 后学. So also with concerted efforts, we help with the Dao, and this will lead to a very auspicious and very smooth journey of life. And we should not be just make empty vows, right? 空力大愿. We are very big on words, but we are dwarf, as a doer. So we have to walk the talk, okay. 众难能够回天，亦要再锻炼. Even people are able to return to the absolute heaven, they still should not, what do you call?
Stop the practice.
The practice, or slack off.
Or you can say refinement. The refinement.
Yeah, just like senior transmitter often said that a lot of a lot of cultivators were able to go back to the absolute heaven, to all kind of different places in the heaven, but they chose to come down and to help the human world so that they can further their cultivation. They can be make progress in their virtue. And if we take vows, but we don't sincerely fulfill the vows, then we need to go down to this mundane world. Okay. So finally, he said these are just a few direct words or blunt words, right? And so, but you should not take it lightly. We have to really listen to the meaning, his intention between words, and do well in our cultivation. So this is just one of the scripture by Guan Yu. He also said something else, like about the vegetarianism. He also said that in the future, this world is really will become a place of only vegetarians. Okay, I'm sure you have something to add or make comments.
Yeah, very interesting. He was
Oh, he was?
in his life. Yeah, he was. He still.
Yeah,
He still
but it's very wow. People now worship him, and they offer him all kinds of meat, fish, and I don't know.
No, but he wasn't a vegetarian. No, according to the records of the Three Kingdoms, he wasn't a vegetarian.
Okay.
So it shows that it's true. You don't have to be a vegetarian to attain status like he was. That's true. But ideally, we should, because you cut off
The karma.
future creation of future bad karma, right? But because he has such great merit, he can use that merit to offset whatever karma he had by eating meat.
Just
Okay?
like 忠义大仙, he
Yeah,
was not
there
a
are,
vegetarian either.
Okay, yeah, there are a lot, but
But I'm surprised when they are in war, they kill. And isn't that
yeah,
common?
that's true too.
Well,
That's
there
true.
is karma, of
That's
course,
true.
but he's fighting for the country. Okay, so he's defending his country. So there's that, that's a virtue. I mean, his loyalty, his righteousness, that's a virtue.
And on one hand, it's all royalty.
And the merits. So it's a question of whether his merits, overcome so it's hard for us or anyone today to compare to his merit. I mean, it's so great. So he can overcome all that.
Yeah, he's also the 玉皇大帝, right?
Yeah,
He's
he's the Jade Emperor.
Jade Emperor.
It's in the
of
celestial heaven.
Celestial
one of
heaven.
the
Well,
last.
he's the current. I guess he's the current holder of that title in the celestial
he's
heaven.
in the
So
level
he's kind of
of,
responsible for all the Qitian Shen.
Oh, he has so many positions.
Yeah, he's in the world of 33 divas, is it? World of 33 divas? Something like that. Yeah, world of 33 divas.
Yes, James.
In reference to, you deal with karma and law of karma, but you didn't mention anything about the chain, 12 chain law of causation.
Say that again?
You mean the dependent
Origination.
origination?
12 chain
Nidanas,
link of
yeah.
causation.
Yeah, what about it? He what? He did what?
12 chain link
Right,
of
about it?
right.
causation.
What about it?
Well, I mean, if you're going to deal with the issue of the law and being a keeper of the law, shouldn't that be kind of, at one point, is there a relationship or no?
The law?
Well, see, when he was alive, he was not in the Tao or anything. I mean, it's not like the principle. I mean, he probably, I don't think he was Buddhist when he was alive.
No.
12 chain link of causation.
So, I mean, I don't know if he, he probably didn't study that or didn't know, I don't know if he would know about that type of thing.
Even though that was already established in
well,
Buddhism, because his contemporary in Buddhism would be the six patriarchs? No, I forgot which patriarch. Of Buddhism.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
No,
In,
no, he-
yeah.
much
No, because he's 300 AD. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Six
250 AD.
Are you talking about Buddha?
Yeah, Buddhist.
That's Buddha era, right?
Yeah, the 14th Zen patriarch. Yeah. So, you know, Sen Su, Long Su, 对不对？龙树 Nagarjuna, Sen Su, the 14th patriarch. No. Yeah. When he was alive, during his time, roughly 250 AD, whatever. Yeah, he's still subject to the 12 dependent origination. That's true. I mean, he is because he's still a human, right? I mean, the key is he still has. The key is if let's just say he just killed like regular, like ordinary soldier or whatever, and he didn't have a lot of those virtues, then yes, he would still be subject to whatever karmic karma that he created, okay, or he laid down. But because he has such virtues, he was able to offset. You understand? Because he has that great loyalty, great moral integrity, and all that stuff. So what I'm trying to say is, even though in humans, yeah, you could be in this life the general or something, but if you, and then you're gonna, lead people to die or order people to die. So we create karma. That's true. So you're still subject to the 12 dependent origination. But the key is, if you also have great virtues, you know what I'm trying to say? Integrity, moral integrity, all that will offset. You understand? Because it's a balance. It's a balancing, right? So the key is, we have to perform merits, right? We have to practice our moral integrity, virtue, etc., etc. You know what I'm saying? In whatever we do, right? That's the most important thing.
Okay. If I say anything wrong, I ask for forgiveness of Buddha Sensei, and please kindly correct me. Thank you.